God is with us, who can be against us? And so realize this wonderful thing. And so, in conclusion, willing and acting to victory. Now the victory is, as I have said, to regain our divinity. To realize that it's God in us. And if you can realize that, it takes away a great responsibility. You don't feel pushed in this way and that way, because you know God is the doer. And if you act being one with Him, you know it must be His will, and if it's His will, what comes is all right. If God is with us, what do we care? Nothing. And so victory means that. Victory means regaining our divinity, our immortality. Now the first and perhaps the greatest thing, if you're going to act and will to victory, is to be calm. Attain calmness. So many minds are restless all over the place. You must be calm. All the saints say, and the Master started in many years ago on me, and he says, never lose your calmness. Never lose your calmness. All the saints say, never lose your calmness. That's a very important thing. If you are calm and feel that calmness within you, you can get God contact. But if you're restless, how can poor God get in? You can't get in. And so the first thing is to retain your calmness. As the Master said, we must be able to stand unshaken through the crash of breaking worlds. Isn't that wonderful? Listen, you can do it if He's with you. If you see His consciousness, His light at this point, and know His consciousness is your own consciousness, and this body is His dream, you can stand unshaken through the crash of breaking worlds. But you can only do it if God is with you. And so the first thing in attaining victory is to retain our calmness. This is the first unalterable rule. Now, the second thing is to will at this point. You must have a definite procedure. If you're willing with your mind and your powers diluted, distracted, you cannot succeed. But if you will at this point, and your consciousness is one with God, don't you see you have the tremendous force of God's will at this point? That's where you contact it. As the Master said, 1,000,000 volts are at your disposal at the will center. That's why Jesus said, I could, if I wanted to, command many angels to come and destroy my enemies. Master said the same thing, and I've seen Him do it once or twice. Why? Because God's tremendous will is at this point. And, as He has said, 1,000,000 volts are available for you if you contact and work at the Christ Center, not with your limited intellect and with limited human will. You must join your will with God's will at the Christ Center. That's the second step. And now, remember that God's will, if it is your will, is the supreme power in the universe. All things have been created by God through His will. All things, universe upon universe, by will. And so, if we are to win this victory of realizing our oneness with God, we have to use our will. We have to use our will to discipline ourselves. That's what we don't do. We get all enthused at this meeting, and it peters out. You must discipline yourself. How? By concentration, meditation, and communion. And you have the method. You have the ways of Master. He has given you the ways and the means, the techniques even. And He's written them all out for you. Now do them. Use your will to do that. You understand? Use your will. Use your dynamic divine will to make yourself do these things. That's what discipline is. That's spiritual discipline. Use that power of God in you, that divine will at the Christ Center. Utilize the 1,000,000 volts of which I have spoken. To do what? To practice discipline of concentration, meditation, and communion with God. If you do that, what happens? Then you attain mastery. Mastery over this body, this little physical being, and your own body of consciousness. You attain mastery. Then, attaining mastery, then you can regain your immortal nature. You can once more realize that there is no separation between God and me. And you can not only say, thou and I, never apart, you can say, with Lord Shankara, I am He. I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He.
In order to profit from these practical teachings in a meaningful way, which will have a definite and tangible impact in your life, we suggest that you subscribe to the Self-Realization Fellowship's home study course on the science of yoga. Please visit the SRF on the web at yogananda-srf.org or call the SRF's Mother Center in Los Angeles, California at 323-225-2471.